Hello, everybody. Welcome. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. My clock in the kitchen is wrong. I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare Live, and this happens every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome to comment. If you have a question or if you want to talk about something, go ahead and put it in the comments. And it's a good community there. And if we're talking about something, you want to talk about something else, go ahead and put it in the comments and we'll go off on that tangent. So how this usually works is I go, Steve, yes, you did beat me. How this works is I read through the comments and then somewhere in the middle, I have a topic of discussion. And today's topic of discussion, if you guys have been paying attention, you already know what it is. But I want to wait until the middle about. And it is something that's going to be long-standing and make a decision for us. So let's get started. First things first, I'm going to turn the sound off on my phone. Sorry about that. All right, we're good. So let's go up to the top. Everything family friendly, please, guys. Hey, Dawn's here. I'm going to be about 10 minutes late getting here, but I was already here. Dawn's in the game. Well, we will see you when you come back in, Dawn. Erin's here. Hey, Erin. Ed's here. Hi, Ed. Me and the wife watching anime again. Oh my gosh. So sorry. Dropped me like she normally. Oh, so you guys are Penn City. Yeah. Sorry for everybody that is listening. That was a weird reading. Yeah. So you guys are back in the same household. That's good. Everybody saying hi. Ed says, hi, everyone. Next Monday, we'll be back to normal for us. See you then. Well, thanks for checking in, Ed. Hey, Vase Place is here. Welcome. Vase Place is my moderator. You see here in blue, and she catches all the bad guys. And she also has a YouTube channel, and she does lives on Saturday mornings and Wednesday midday lunchtime. So check out her stuff. And you guys are talking, saying hi. Everybody's hanging in there. Good. Vase Place says, crazy man stole my garlic planter. So the week is starting off quiet. Stole your garlic planter? How the heck does that happen? Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe he really liked garlic. Man, well, I'm glad that they caught him. Aaron says, wow, that's crazy. Yes. They caught him with it in his apartment. Then he tried to beat up the cops. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's go for a better time than that. Oh no, your garlic is no more. So you'll have to plant more. That's sad. So he wanted to steal it so he could be, guess you're helping people be self-sufficient, Verna. That sucks. Well, it shouldn't be too late to plant garlic. I know my garlic is about that tall right now, and I know your guys' garlic is a little bit behind, but you do indoor, so maybe not. Yeah. Hey, Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. Vase Place says, hey, Andy, the one you love is growing bigger. The cuy? Yeah. So Vase Place, I did not watch Saturday. I was at a reptile show. I want to know how your processing went. Good, bad, indifferent. Yeah. Are you going to drop the Wednesday lunchtime? Okay. So Saturday's only for Vase Place. Oh boy. All right. Back up to the top. Hey, Gidros. Welcome. She says hey. Andy Rabbit says, Verna, sorry about the garlic. That's cool. The one with the black face is growing good. So we got garlic and cabbie. Steve, are you late? Uh-oh. Steve's missing? No, he's here. Steve says, officially, I was here earlier, casted my... Yes. Oh my gosh. 3. You're on 3 accounts? Goodness. Well, that's all right. Andy Rabbit says, over and I'll miss Wednesday. Okay. Hey, JJ Willow's here. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. I was a couple minutes late too. It's all right. Way this is structured. Welcome, by the way. Welcome. The way this is structured is I go through the comments at the beginning, and if you want to say any topics of discussion that you want to talk about, we can talk about that. And then in the middle, I have a planned topic of discussion, which for me is really exciting right now. So, welcome. Everybody saying hi. Garlic is outside. That makes sense. Vay's Place says, yes, didn't process as I burnt my left hand. Uh-oh. It's fine now. Well, I hope that you recover well. You need some aloe vera in that apartment of yours. Aloe vera, if you have it, something you can... So if you grow aloe vera, if you don't grow aloe vera, grow aloe vera. And if you do grow aloe vera, you should know that it can be used for burns or like sunburn or just general skin health. And something that I learned is that you can actually fillet the skin off of one of the leaves, and it's like this clear juice, and you let it sit for a little bit so that the yellow stuff comes out, and then the rest of it you can just cut it up, put it in a jar, and put it in the refrigerator. That way, if you do get a sunburn or if you do get something like that, you have a nice, cool piece of aloe to put on your skin, and the liquids will come out of that a little bit in the refrigerator. So if you have aloe, I would do that with just do it with one leaf, and it'll last a long time in the refrigerator. Yeah. Dawn's back. Yay. You had your headsets on. Oh yeah. Yep. Sorry about the garlic. JJ Willow says, I have garlic growing since the start of winter, zone 6, and I will be planting more. Just mulch it good until... Verna grows out patio, so she has I think you have the ability to protect it a little better. I am in zone 9, so in the garlic capital of the world, Gilroy. So if garlic doesn't grow here, I don't know where it will grow. No, mine's growing fine. Thank you. You're welcome. Don't know what for, but you're welcome. Dawn says our garlic is up at least 6. Yeah, it's like between 6 and 8, I think. Yeah. Hey, Shiloh's here. Thumbs up. Welcome, Shiloh. JJ Willow says mine is only about 4 inches, zone 6. Yeah, so I'm in a little... I am in a warmer climate than you. I'm going to guess I'm probably also closer to the equator, so we probably get more sun because I'm zone 9. Oop, you guys jumped. Vase Place says I soaked my hand in vinegar water for 8 hours, so the blisters that tried to form didn't. Yeah, vinegar is also a great thing. I've heard about using it for burns, but I've never done that. I try not to burn myself. What I do when I get a burn actually is if I have the vitamin E capsule, like the capsules that you would, as a vitamin, if you break that open and put it on, that will also stop. In my experience, I'm not a doctor. don't do things like I'm a doctor. I'm not, but that's what I've done. But vinegar, I know, takes out a lot of the heat. It's also a cure for if those people that have really bad. Sorry, I need a pillow. For those people that have really bad reactions to mosquito bites, that's something that can be used on mosquito bites as well. But you have to set it on there. So soak a washcloth, set it on the bite, and just have it set there for a long time, and it will completely draw everything out and heal it. One time there was a girl. I did my undergraduate research at Heart Mountain National Animal Refuge in southeastern Oregon with badgers. But there was a girl that was there, just a visitor to the refuge. and she was bit up by mosquitoes. Like her welts were like this big, and we brought her into the bunkhouse and just laid washcloths all over her, and because she was highly allergic, and she walked out of there and she was completely fine. So vinegar is a good thing for a lot of heat relieving things. It has cooling powers. So powers. Yeah. Dawn says aloe vera is awesome. I had 2 weeks of severe hives and that stuff was great. I made aloe vera gel and froze cubes of it, rub frozen on, and is great. Yeah, so you can freeze it and everything. I don't have any in the refrigerator right now. I should do that. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Would you guys like to see a video on that? Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, you just have like a pint jar in there, or you can make ice cubes. Ice cubes sounds great. It sounds a lot colder. Yeah. Hey, Andy Cross is here. Welcome to the live chat. Don't know when you joined, so I'm just gonna tell you can ask anything homestead related on here. We can talk about topics you want to talk about. Go ahead in the middle. So welcome. Hey, Diana's here. Diana Tuttle Tut Farm, and it jumped. Let me scroll up. Hey, all, she says. Hey. Oh, no patio, just a patch of wood chips out there that I have 4 planters outside, Faceplace says. That's awesome. My connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. I'm typing. So let me know if you can hear me and see me. I just had a notification that my internet connection was weird. So I'm going to scroll down and see, make sure. Yep, been watching your connection. Oh, okay. Well, we will see how it goes. Hopefully it's not too bad. It was kind of bad last time too. It's supposed to be good internet. I do live in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, just south of it. All right, I have to find where I was. I'm sorry, you guys. Let's see. Sorry. All right. Go up a little. Oh my gosh, you guys jumped again. All right. Everybody's saying hi. JJ Willow says potato starch takes the heat out of burns, but it doesn't really heal it. I could see how that would work. Shiloh Doggy says, hello, Katrina. Hello. Welcome again. Dawn is in zone 6 and it's 6 inches. We're talking about garlic because of where I have it planted. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, Witch Doctor's here. Welcome. Hopefully Nevada's treating you good. She says, hey, we missed Zach last night, but made yours today. Yay! Thank you for making it today. Vaseplace says mine was a steam burn. Oh, from the distiller. Extra hot, but since it wasn't fire, my flesh didn't melt. Well, I'm glad you know what to do, because a lot of people wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. I'm glad you're doing okay. JJ Will says, mosquitoes eat me up because I'm so sweet. So I have heard, I have heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they like people that eat bananas and they don't like people that eat vinegary things like pickles. So I have no idea if that's true or not, but it might be worth it just to see if you're going into mosquito territory, if you eat some pickles, a little bit before, so you get that vinegar in you. If it would make a difference, I have no idea. Yeah. Cleaning. So Witch Doctor says cleaning the work truck and listening. All right. Welcome. JJ says, I actually don't know. Okay. So blood type, yeah, blood type for. I don't know. I know there's been research but done on that, but I haven't paid attention. Oh, your mom is, so maybe you're extra sweet. Oh, so Vase Place says they love negative blood. If your mom negative, you maybe too. That may be true. I'm a positive and I don't know, positive blood. I don't know. They don't eat me up, but they don't avoid me either. Yeah. All right. Okay, back to connection things. JJ Willow Vase, do you know any suggestions? Oh, okay. You guys are having that conversation. Got it. Andy Rabbit says, I threw my cell phone once at the wall and it fell in my aloe plant. 3 days later, that aloe was wilted and died. Maybe you like got right to the root of it or something. Maybe it didn't like what you had to say. Sounds okay. Good. Thank you, Steve. Eat lots of garlic. Yeah. Sounds is okay. Good. Yeah, I haven't had that message come up before and it hasn't come up since. So hopefully the internet is cooperating. Hey, PJ's is here. Hi, I hear and see you. Good. Welcome, PJ. Welcome. I go in and out. Okay. It's tolerable. Thanks, Steve. Hopefully it becomes better than tolerable soon. Seem good for now. Got some. I don't have. I think that's all I have open. Okay. Do you have bad weather? No. Nope. We have a storm coming in on, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday. But other than that, nope. And it's just going to be, it's just going to be rain here anyway. Yeah. Oh, Dawn says she heard another big smoke explosion was in Ohio today. Bedford, Ohio. Meadows plant exploded and the smoke looks as bad as before. Oh my gosh. I hope that all of that. So for those that don't know, there was a train wreck with a lot of toxic, yucky chemicals in Ohio, and it's from Vase Place and it's away from my Shire farm. I don't know anybody else on here who might be in Ohio. Hopefully you're not here. You're not near it. But man, there's another thing that's smoking up the air, huh? It's not good. Andy Rabbit says, here, Katrina, here you are. Katrina, every time you get that notice, your connection improves. Awesome. Well, we'll see. The router is not far away. It's on the other side of the wall, but I don't know. PJ says, hey, just got home from returning my grandson, put the girls to bed, and milked my goat. Good. How did that go? I just realized that I'm probably oversteeping my tea by about 15 minutes. And before you ask, Vase Place, it is spiced ginger plum tea, I think. Some mix somebody gave me. Not, yeah, those explosions are not near Vase Place. Raw bacon helps with burns too. It works awesome around a finger. Andy Rabbit, I'm guessing that's because of the fat. That's what I'm gonna guess. But I've never heard that before. Interesting. And you can cook it afterwards and eat it too. Well, I've heard of people putting like a steak on a bruised face, right? The old time boxers always had a steak on their face. Yeah. That's funny. I will drink pickle juice if it helps. Thank you for that tip. JJ will if it does, but definitely if it works, or if it doesn't, let us know. And then, if it doesn't work, just don't tell people I told you. No, it's not necessarily pickle juice. It's that it's vinegary. That's the theory. The joke is always to bake banana bread for your hiking mates and don't eat it. So that they get attracted to other people. I think that's a little much, but you know. Oh boy. Yes. Witch Doctor says, Verna, I hit your kit together. Didn't make it to the post office. Oh, okay. Pickle juice has both garlic and vinegar. Yeah, so it's good. Vase Place says dill pickle juice and garlic keeps biters away. I've heard this. I've never experienced this, so that's good. You have a plan for serving the summer in the garden? Yeah, you might be a little smelly to everybody, huh? Garlic breath, and I don't know if pickle juice breath is, but here you go. I just flashed. Flash. Hopefully it's better. And you guys just jumped. You can hear us? Okay. You can hear me-ish. Andy Rabbit says, okay, to get this right, we drink the pickle juice and not pour it on us. I don't know, Andy Rabbit. You and JJ can experiment. Come back with the results. Write up a paper. We'll get it published in Science, right? Vaseway says, yes, Andy, you can drink it. It also helps if you... Okay, someone says they lost me. Hopefully I'm back. All right, I'm just going to keep going. PJ says, oh, you had to refresh the page? Got me back. Good. Thank you, Verna. PJ says, goat is doing good, only getting about 2 cups per day, but not buying milk from the store anymore. Awesome. Vase Place says, if you get sunburned, you dab white vinegar on it to help take the heat away. Yep. So I was talking about aloe earlier, using that, but both of those things definitely work. Andy Rabbit says, my mom always put underarm deodorant on us for a bug bite to stop the itching. I wonder what's in that would do that. Interesting. Don says, when I was a kid and got a black eye and concussion from running into my brother's head, how did that happen? They made me put a stake on my eye. It was swelled shut. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I want to know that story, Don. Everybody's laughing at you. Witch Doctor says, if I refresh, I get you back for 10 seconds. Then we go back to having hiccups. PJ says, hopefully soon other 2 goats will kids so I can get more milk and do more with it. Yeah. That'll be good. Somebody just opened the bottom door? I don't know what that means, Verna. Don says, Katrina, we were chasing people and he came around the corner of the house and I did it too. Oh, hit head on. Okay. Okay, Steve says, Witch Doctor, she has hiccups. It's not you, it's sporadic. I wonder what's going on. I might have to have a phone call with my internet people. See what's going on. Not right now. All right, you guys ready for our topic of the day? Let me know when you're ready, since then I know you can hear me. Andy Rabbit says, I learned about drinking pickle juice and the going to the bathroom the hard way when I was 14. Oh, okay. Yes. Topic, go. All right, good. So topic of discussion is, Diana's ready. All right. I decided, I can say we decided, but it was really me. I decided to, here's a tip. JJ Willow says, I reduce the quality of the video. It makes it less laggy. Thanks for the tip. I don't know what's going on. I might have to maybe next Monday I'll do it from the other room. You'll have a much more boring background, but there you go. yeah, so I decided that, so you guys have seen the rabbits in the video, in the videos, and I have decided that we are going to keep both of them. And so both of the little ladies that we have been cuddling and all of that, one of them was going to go to a one of Manuel's friends as a breeder, but he backed out. So both of them are really friendly. I don't feel like I should be eating all of them, but they need names. They need names. So, yeah. So right now we have two. Well, we have the male is Parmesan, and he may or may not be staying with us depending on if the ladies have babies soon, because he might be on his way out. He might be looking for a home. But his name is Parmesan, and the two ladies are Tortellini and Meatball. So they came with those names, and then there was a third lady. Her name was Ziti, so that name is not going to be used. And so they all have kind of Italian food names, and so I need to name these little girls. So I'm hoping you guys will help out. Somebody, I believe it was Chelsea. I don't know if Chelsea is on right now, but she had mentioned Penne as a name, and so I was going to ask you guys to make me to help me with names, and we'll do a little voting thing after I look at them and kind of figure out what's good. So give me suggestions. What? Close this thing. I have something to type these names. All right. Daisy. Is Daisy a type of Italian food stuff? Dazie. Hey, Joy's here. Welcome, Joy. We're picking rabbit names that have to do with Italian food, pasta-ish names. Ravioli. Rigatoni. Oh, Tony. That might, rigatoni might have to be reserved for a buck. It sounds more like a buck name, maybe. Maybe not. Vermicelli. I don't know what that is. Tagliatelle? I don't know what that is. Shelly for macaroni shells. Oh my gosh, there's so many pastas I don't know about, you guys. Cavatelli. Cavatappi. Oh my gosh. Goodness. Olive. Okay, linguine, olive. How do you say the one with the G? Is it Noshi? Is the G silent? I think it is. That's made of the potatoes. I know that. Prosciutto, polenta. Oh my gosh. Penne. Yeah, that is. I think Chelsea. I don't think she's on. Mackie. Macaroni. Oh, Angel. Man, you guys are good. Yes, the G is silent. Okay. Tagliatelli. Okay, that makes that. Thanks for breaking that up for me, Steve. Okay, flat noodle like an egg noodle, but not curly. Ziti. I know Ziti was the one that passed, so we're not gonna name her Ziti because this is the rabbit to replace Ziti. Oh boy. Wow, that's a good list, guys. That's a really good list. So we have two to name, not just one. So we have lots of names. Yeah, Andy, it's sad. You can't use tagliatelle. Tagliatelle? Did I say it right? Tagliatelle? You know, you can learn how to say things, Steve. Lasagna. I think I already had that, but I'll write it down. Mary for marinara. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna put this to a vote, the ones that we like. I'm gonna have to talk with Manuel and will it down to a few of them, and we'll put it out to a vote. Parmesan is a cheese, so mozzarella. Okay. I was thinking of Italian food. That was what I was thinking. Mozzarella. Noodles, just noodles. That would be a really good one for one that like was extra cuddly, I feel. Feta? Oh my gosh. Provolone. You guys just naming everything. All right. I think we have enough names, unless someone has something really creative, because that's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Pasta, just pasta. Pasta. Yeah. Meatball is such a like tortellini is like it's a name of a pasta, but it's kind of like a fun name. I had to really get used to calling a rabbit but meatball now is a rabbit to me. So there you go. Al dente. Oh my gosh, not done yet. I don't know how to say that one, PJ. D Ditalini? Wow. All right. So yeah, we're going to keep two of them, and then my plan is to breed two at a time, and that way if something happens with one of the litters, the other litter will okay. Ditalini. Oh, Ditalini. That's a fun thing to say. That's fun. So the idea will be to always have somebody in production, except for over the summer because it's way too hot. But to have them with a partner so that you breed them one day apart, so that if one happens to have a if one happens to have issues of any sort, then the other can potentially adopt some or all of the babies. So that's the option. Zeddy, when she was alive, I believe she had an entire litter die, and I believe it was that her milk didn't come in. That's the only thing I can think of. She was very attentive, very maternal, and all of that. And I went out to check on them, and when I got to them, they came basically like bolting over to deal with them, to help them. And she actually she gave me a little. It wasn't like a bite, but she bit my finger, just saying, "Okay, I have it from here. Go away." And she kind of grabbed my finger and pushed it aside because I think she thought she could handle it. She thought that she could, help them. And she probably would have, except that her milk, I think that's what happened. Her milk didn't come in. So that was a sad situation and a learning experience for me. So if that were to happen again, I would try and give that baby, those remaining babies, to another mom. And it's sad, but then at least they would live. So yeah. Andy Rabbit says, yes, 2 rabbits equal 1 rabbit. I thought rabbit math when went the opposite way. 2 equals 18. Oh boy. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, nope, Steve, you got to have 2 or more rabbits to give birth at the same day every time. Yeah, so I only have 1 buck. I only plan on having 1 buck. If Parmesan needs to find another home, I'll have him out as a pet because he is a lovable little dude. And then I'll bring another buck on. So only have 1 buck. So the hope is that they would actually, this last time, the girls were bred 1 day apart, and they actually, Tortellini was bred after Meatball, but she had hers like several hours before Meatball on the same day. So it worked out. So I think one day apart is pretty good. If I had 2 bucks, I would do it that way. So is that how you do it, Andy? I want to know how you do it. Yeah, so 2 rabbits equal 1. Yep. Oh, which doctor? Are you going night already? Good night. Say hello to Psycho Ward for us. Yeah. So yeah, Andy Rabbit, I would like to know if you actually breed 2 to the same buck on the same day, or if you breed 2 separate bucks on the same day. Because that's something that I think will be helpful for me to know, since you've been raising rabbits longer than me. PJ says, I want to do that with my pigs, trying to see who gives me the best colors right now. So I have 4 currently. Okay. Everybody saying good night to Witch Doctor. Yeah, so that's my idea. Before, when I did it, I did all 3 mamas would have them, or would be bred in a row. And they did fine. That was an ignorance on my part for the for knowing about the milk coming in, and it didn't come in, because she had been a great mother before that, and no issues. Like, she was the only one that didn't lose any the first time, and like her very first, I believe I had her for her very first litter, because her paperwork didn't have any litters on it. And it basically, I mean, she didn't lose any. And she had them in the afternoon, which is weird because usually they have them at night or in the early morning. Yeah. So Andy Rabbit says, depends. Sometimes I use the same buck the same day. Yeah, see, Parmesan, he's kind of a laid back, chill dude. And I'm wondering if maybe there's not enough cardio activity that he has in his life. Because I think he's tired pretty quickly, or maybe I don't know, bored. I don't know what. And he always has to clean his feet in between fall offs, and then he goes and cleans their ears. And so I think he's a good buck, but I think maybe he's not the most active buck, and there would be more active bucks out there. So that's, yeah. I think that's his issue. I also don't know how old he is. He did not come with any. I know the girls' birth dates and stuff like that. I don't know I don't know if I know their birth date. I know their first breeding date. But yeah, he didn't have, he didn't come with any paperwork, so I don't know actually how old he is. I had assumed that he was the same age as Tortellini because they were the 2 original. Meatball is Tortellini's and Parmesan's daughter. And so is Ziti. So, from different litters, different kindlings. Andy Rabbit said, I bred 3 does of the same buck today. Wow. Yeah, he's a lot more active than Parmesan. Lucky buck, PJ says. Some bucks get all the luck. Andy Rabbit says, kind of luck, but not really. I gave him some fun before he went. Oh. Oh, it was butchering time for him? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like he was processed, is what it sounds like she's saying. They. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna put that together and figure out how to do a poll, and we will name these bunnies, and then they will have names. We did not process the younger ones, well, the same age as the ones we're naming, but we did not process those ones this weekend. We're going to, and then I ended up going to this reptile show to meet potential clients, and then Manuel had soccer all day yesterday, and he worked today, so that was how that went. So they hopefully will be done today, or they hopefully will be processed this week or next week. Not next week, next weekend. Next weekend, I think I'm going to the Scion Exchange in Santa Rosa. I think it's Saturday. It's 25th, I think. So if you guys are in Santa Rosa area, there is a Scion Exchange. Scion, if you have a video on Scions, if you have not watched that, watch that video. But basically, if you are interested at all in fruit trees and getting different types of fruit trees, or maybe you have a really healthy fruit tree that you want to add to, or you want different varieties on, you can go and get a scion, which is literally a stick from a tree, and graft it onto that tree, and it'll be really, really great. So there you go. PJ's is asking Verna how the cuy are doing, and she says growing like weeds. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says my friend brought 2 does over a while back, and we used the same buck on them. Within 30 minutes, they both had 8 and 9 babies. You have a virile, I forget how to say that word, buck. Vase Place, did you try your present? So Verna, I filmed me opening this, and then I lost that. If you guys watched the video from today, you know that my SD card from my camera went bye-bye. Totally everything that was on it was not recoverable. So no, I haven't used it yet. I've been busy doing all sorts of things, but I do have it here, and it's a little guy, which is what I was looking for. So I appreciate that, Verna. I appreciate that a lot. I'll definitely be using this. Yeah, awesome. When it was sent, I thought it was a book. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. S.S. Swanson says, she eats the productive ones. Yeah. It sounds like it. Maybe you shouldn't have eaten him. How old was he? PJ says, I have that one too. The scale. Is it good? Yeah, I think it'd be good. Vase Place says, I have one in the quail room and one in the kitchen. You keeping those separate, are you? Yeah. Every time Parmesan breeds with any of the ladies, he's so funny because he's a lover. He's a lover, a gentleman. He really wants them to be like, feel comfortable. Let me clean your ears. Oh, let me clean your other ear. And he's like, oh, maybe I need to get clean feet. I don't know what his fascination is with cleaning his feet, but apparently he needs to every time. PJ's loves the scale. Awesome. Andy Rabbit says that little buck is awesome. He can breed in 100-degree weather. No doe has ever had a failed litter with him. Too bad he's just a mini Rex. Okay. Well, I mean, little rabbits are edible too, right? In snack size. Yeah. So we've talked about rabbits. We talked about rabbit names. We talked about burning and sunburn and mosquitoes. What other topics do you guys want to talk about? um, I am going to be processing the rabbits, like I said, eat sometime this week or next weekend. And so I'll be doing a lot of stuff with that. We plan on canning a lot of it. And I have been really, really, really impressed with canning meats. If you buy canned meat at the store, it's totally different than home canned meat. And we use the home canned meat all the time. It's so much easier to get and just dump in a recipe than getting something out of the freezer or remembering to get something out of the freezer. I still have stuff in the freezer as well, but it is easier to grab it off the shelf and just dump it in. So if you guys have not canned meat yet, I've canned rabbit and quail, which is what I raise, and I have videos on both of those. And I've canned beef and chicken and turkey as well. So all of it's turned out great. So I definitely recommend that to you guys, especially if you're growing your own animals. I recommend that to you guys. Don's asking Andy Rabbit, find a way to make him breed some maxi Rex. Yeah, you might get medium-sized Rexes. Steve says, if Katrina gets a mini Rex, she can name it Mini Ravioli. Oh, I'm not going for mini anything. I'm going for yeah, meat and potentially heat tolerance, because that's what we have here. Andy Rex. I'm calling you Andy Rex now since we're talking about Rex. Andy Rabbit says, I have a silver fox hay stashing right now. Awesome. And Verna says, Andy sounds like kits in the morning. Yeah, so my girls are getting their nest boxes tomorrow. Since they're bred a day apart, I just put them in the same day just so I could remember one date. It's really tomorrow and the next day, but I just put them in the same day. They get their nest boxes tomorrow, but I am not sure they're pregnant again. So, like I said, if they're not pregnant, Parmesan is finding a home and we will be bringing a new buck on. So, yeah, there we go. Andy Rabbit says, I'm butchering 9 Dutch rabbits right now. Rabbits. Interesting. And you're hoping for kits in the morning? Yeah. Vase Place says, and you have canned bone broth. Yes, I have canned bone broth as well. And soups. I did a rabbit soup specifically. Chili was last week's. I think it was last week. I don't remember when it was. But I've done chili with tons of different kinds of meats in it. There's all sorts of different things you can do with these things. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, yes, I have canned bone broth. Yes. Steve says, is dry canned meat stringy? I don't know what dry canned is. What is dry canning? Are you talking about when you don't add water? That's cold packed? So like you just put the meat in and put it in the canner and do the pressure canning? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're calling dry canned? No, it's not stringy. So there is, I have not, so cold packed, that's what he means. Okay. So there's 2 different, if you're canning meat, you do need a pressure canner. It will not work with, jars will seal. It will not be safe if you use it with a water breath canner or, vacuum seal or any type of thing. It actually needs to be pressure canned. And there's two different ways of doing it. Canning scares you. It should not scare you. I need to do an intro course. I will eventually. So the two types of ways to can meat is a cold pack or a hot pack. Cold pack is, I believe, what Steve is referring to as dry canned. I don't know what that actually means, but what you would do is you would just put the meat in. You can cut it in cubes. You can put it in, strips or whatever into the jar, and you pack it to you fill the jar to a certain height. You guys can check the National Center for Home Food Preservation. You can check out their website for the specifics of what kind of meat and what the headspace is and how you're doing it. And what that does is it cans it and it pulls the liquid out of the actual meat. So if you have any sort of meat, it has liquid in it and it pulls it out. And that's the liquid that's in there. The liquid doesn't necessarily cover all the meat, which is completely fine. If it is a hot pack, what you're doing is you're par cooking it. So you're cooking it either all the way or partially. So like you're cooking it 2/3 the way through, 1/3 the way through, whatever the book says, whatever the National Center for Home Food Preservation says. And when you do that, you cook it, you put it in there, you can pour in, how there's stuff left in the pan, you can put that in there. And then what you do is you pour boiling water or broth or some liquid that's approved into that jar up to whatever the headspace says. And in my opinion and in my experience, I like the hot pack better. The texture comes out a little bit better. The flavor doesn't really change. It's more about the texture and how it pulls apart. It's still not going to be like if you froze meat and then you cooked it. It's not going to be that consistency. It's going to be more closer to a shredded meat, but it's still really good. And you can use it in tons of things. Now, the cold pack is also really good. Let me go get one. All right, guys, we have props. All right. Did I disappear? Let me read what you guys are writing. Dawn says, I've dry canned chicken, potatoes, meatloaf, all are awesome. I don't know what you're saying is dry canned. Not familiar with that term. All canning should either be done in water bath or pressure. So that's something important. If you're canning it in an oven, that's only making the jar seal. I know that might be what people are talking about. I don't know. That's only making the jar seal. It's not actually processing the food, and it can be very dangerous. JJ Willis says hot pack meat makes a prettier can of meat. Yep. And SS Swanson says, it's funny, Katrina's stuff pops up in chat before I see her typing it. There's a lag. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, I'm too lazy to cook it, then boil water and add to the jars. I just put raw meat in, seal it, and can it much faster. Yeah, so it's still a good product if you do the cold pack. It's just, yeah. I for texture, I think it's better if it's cooked. So, yeah. PJ says, I freeze it. My neighbor used to make the most awesome canned beef. They raise cows. I don't have any pantry space to keep canned anything. Oh, dry can in a pressure canner. No liquid, just meat. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad you're not trying to can in a oven. There are people that try and do that, but it's not safe. So, yeah. Yeah, cold pack is what we're talking about. So this is quail. And I don't know if you guys can see the liquid level kind of moving, but the liquid level is right here. All of the liquid in this jar came from the quail. So this has bones and everything, not everything. It's gutted and cleaned like you would freeze it. But this has, it's sealed. You can pick up the jar from the lid and nothing's going to come out. It's been pressure canned, and all of that liquid is from the actual animal that's inside, which is pretty cool. This is going to be Thursday's video is us tasting this, because we didn't until recently because we've been eating other meat, which is sad but true. And the meat above the waterline is just fine when you do it this way. This is rabbit. So this is a hot pack. Let me make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, this is a hot pack rabbit, canned rabbit, and you can see it's in chunks, and it was par cooked, and I don't remember what the liquid is in here. I think it was just water. But once you put this through the process, it'll turn it into like a light broth, even if it's just water. You can see there's some fat on the top that rose to the top in the process, and that is fine. Also, you can, hold the top and it's not coming off. That means it's sealed. But this was the hot pack where you fill it up to a certain point. And I use, these lids are called Harvest Guard, and they're reusable lids. There's separate gaskets, and then I've also used the metal lids too. But that's the difference in what you're going to see on the shelf. I mean, I don't have any more raw. We did raw pack some rabbit, but I don't have similar things to show you right now. But the water level or the liquid level is the major thing. Liquid level right here and right here. So I hope that helps. Andy Rabbit says, I finished my homemade egg peeler today. Oh, wow. It doesn't work. I will buy different tubing this week. I just used the tubing I had on hand. I think it's too smooth. Well, good luck. Good luck. Yeah. Dawn says, your quail in that jar is like when I dry can in the pressure canner. Yeah, so I think dry canning how you're using it is called cold packed in the National Center for Home Food Preservation on their website and on their book. I think it's the same thing. It just means you don't add water to it, which is fine. And then also with bones, it has kind of different instructions than without bones. JJ says, how long does canned meat store? It stores until the seal is no good. Basically, what people have said is within a couple of years, you should be eating through stuff. I would say within 3 years, you should be eating through stuff. Ideally, you would have a pantry that rotates. So your new stuff is in the back and your old stuff is in the front. And that way you're always working through it. And then how long does it store? It stores basically once this is processed and sealed, it's safe. But after a couple of years, the longer you wait, the longer you wait to eat it, the less nutrition it will have because the nutrition will start to degrade. But it would still probably be safe at a later date if it's still sealed, if it was canned properly. So there's a lot of ifs there. But yeah, it stores for a long time. I know ball, like the ball, these are probably ball. Yeah, that's a ball jar. They make the metal lids and stuff. Ball and Kerr are the same company. There's some other ones that are under the same parent company as well. Their lids, they say, are good for 18 months. They've lasted a whole lot longer than that, but that's just what they, that's kind of what they promise. If you get it to seal and it seals, they're saying it's going to last 18 months. But yeah, just know that even if your food is safe to eat, the nutrition degrades. I mean, it degrades because you're cooking it, honestly, but it degrades over time. So that's the only thing. Andy cut grooves in your tubing. That might work. It might become messy though if she does that. Andy Rabbit says, I'm going to try canning bone broth in the jar, put bones, some veggies, and if I have them, and a bit of water in the jar. Lazy way of making bone broth. Yeah, the only thing with that is that you would have to strain it when you get it out, or at least get the bones out. And I don't see any issue with that. I tend to pressure cook my bones for 3 hours. I would add vinegar to that, the apple cider vinegar, because that will draw out the all the good stuff from the marrow and from the bone, the minerals. And so I cook it for longer than it would be cooked for in, like, if you can bone broth, it's not that long, or not as long as what I use to draw out everything from the bones. Does that make sense? I kind of rambled there. Sorry. Yeah. Steve says it draws out any moisture from the meat when you don't add water. Right. So you're drawing out the moisture from the meat, but the meat is still tender, if that makes sense. It's not like the ones under the water and the ones above the water. It's below the juice and above the juice are any less or more tender than each other. It's pretty much the same everywhere. It's just that you can now use that as like a gravy too. Like, it's really good as a gravy. That the juices that come out. Yeah. Baseplay says, if you have a freeze dryer, you can use less room to store it and can store up to 30 years. Right. So if you had that, you could so nutrition degrades over time no matter what. Freezing is really good. Freeze drying is very, very good, because that's going to last even longer than freezing, because freezing even has some issues with the moisture. And then canning is good, but you do have degradation. I can't even say that word right now, of the nutrients. And dehydrating also degrades the nutrients. So freeze drying would be the best option if you want to keep all your nutrients, but you're not going to do that for everything unless you actually have a freeze dryer. Yeah. Andy Rapp says, good idea, Steve. I'll try that tomorrow. Okay. Dawn says, in my canning group, they call it dry canning. It's the same thing, just different people call it different things. Yes. I just wanted to clarify what that was, because there are people that try and can in their oven, and that's not okay. So I wanted to make sure that we were doing safe things. So good. JJ Willow says, okay, mine is only going on a year. Yeah, it'll be safe. If it was canned properly, it should be safe until that seal, if you were to go out and go into your pantry and find one that has a broken seal, I would not use that. But if it doesn't have a broken seal and you're the one that pops it open, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. Yeah. Steve says, meat is wet, dry, wet packed. Other stuff is cold, hot packed. I've heard cold pack or raw pack, and I've heard cold pack or raw pack is one, and then hot pack is another. I'm sure there's tons of different ways of calling things. I just wanted to make sure that we are talking about the same thing. So yeah, we can have different terminologies as long as we understand we're talking about the same thing. Yeah, so Andy Rabbit says, I call it raw pack. Yeah, raw pack is what I'm calling cold pack. Yeah. Oop. You guys jumped. Let's see. Steve says they say 18 months, so if you do 36 and die, it's not on them. Yeah, probably. Don says, Andy Rabbit, at least I know what you mean by raw pack. We call it that. We learned by who you can from. Yeah, I go by mainly what the National Center for Home Food Preservation says, because they have done tests and they have done all this stuff, and I understand that the terminology can be different. I just want to make sure again that we're all talking about the same thing, even if we have different terminologies, and that's fine. Yeah, that's true. JJ says Instapot or pressure can use lemon juice too. Yeah, so you're talking about the bone broth? Yeah, so you can use an Instant Pot to make bone broth, but you would not use it to can it. So I use a New Wave, which is a really big, it's a 13 quart. It's like an Instant Pot. It's a pressure cooker, not a pressure canner. I make it in that, and then I can it in a pressure canner. But you could make it in a pressure canner, just using the pressure canner as a pressure cooker if you wanted. Just clean it out real good, right? And so that would work. So lemon juice too. So it's mostly the acid that you want to add, lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. Some sort of acid is what you want to add to it in order to pull out those minerals. So you could do lemon juice too. Yeah. PJ says, oh, good to know about the apple cider vinegar and bone broth. Yeah, it's just a splash, or like JJ said, you can use a lemon juice as well. There's people that just they slice a lemon in half and put it in too. I haven't done that. I've used apple cider vinegar. So yeah. And Vase Place says, JJ, you can't can an Instapot. Right. But you can make the broth in the Instapot. Yeah. Dawn says, I learned that it is cooking in its own juices rather than boiling in a liquid. Yep. Andy Rabbit says, it seems every time I take the days to make bone broth, I have life happen, and I can't always get to can it. I cry when I pour it on the dog's food. No. Put it in the refrigerator. Do that. Yeah, I definitely, when I have canning stuff to do, I hardly ever does it happen all in one day. If I need to make something, refrigerate it, reheat it, and to can it, I do that. Don't pour it on the dog's food. I mean, your dog's gonna be very healthy, but but if you're doing that, make sure you have space in your refrigerator. You can put it in there. Or if it's winter where you are, just put it outside, right? Don't crack the pot it's in. Yeah. Dawn says, I learned to use vinegar to make bone broth. Yep. It's just an acid. That's all. PJ says, I freeze my bone broth. That's probably the healthiest way to do it. Unless you have a freeze dryer. You can do that too. But that's probably the healthiest way to do it, is to freeze it or freeze dry it. And because then you don't have any, you retain more nutrients then. Uh-oh. Faceplace is having errors, huh? Andy Rabbit said, oop, we jumped. Andy Rabbit says, yep, vinegar in the bones, it pulls the good stuff out. Yep. Vaseplace says, Andy, you can throw it in the freezer until you have time to can it. Yeah, exactly. I would not waste that stuff, because that stuff is great. And you can add it to so many different things. You can add it to rice or to noodles. You can, like, when you make the rice or the noodles, instead of using water, use the broth. You know, that's don't use water for anything. Anything that food is going to soak up, use the broth, not the water, and you'll get more nutrition. It'll taste better. Yeah. Steve says, your dogs aren't crying when that happens. Yep, you're right. But I do, Andy says. Yeah. Verna, the thing is, life happens is something crazy, and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. By the time it calms down, I forgot and run out of steam, and then it's bad. Yeah. Well, we hope that you are able to do this next time. Andy, you belong to the same club? Yeah. JJ says lemon is good with chicken and poultry. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Lemon is good with a lot of things. Yeah. Oh, Andy Rabbit says my daughter may be having her baby any day. A boy. Well, congratulations for you, Andy Rabbit. JJ Willis. We jumped. Hang on. JJ Willow says, I don't can in an Instant Pot, just make quicker bone broth. Exactly. Yeah, and I have a video on that, JJ, of how I do it. I use a bigger, like I said, it's a New Wave. I'm sure you sound like you're already experienced, but I actually run the bones through twice. And I do 3 hours, and then I strain that out to can, and then I do another 3 hours with new water and new vinegar. And it's a lighter broth, but it still has really good nutrition in it and is still really usable. So that's something to think about. Since you don't have to do it for a certain amount of time, but on the stovetop, it's usually 24 to 48 hours is my understanding. That's a lot of time to be on the stove. It's a lot of time to go to get those minerals out. But in the pressure cooker or Instant Pot or New Wave, it's going to come out a lot faster because everything is pressurized. So yeah, check that video out. Congratulations, Granny. Everybody's congratulating you guys. No freeze dryer yet, PJ says. No, me neither. I have a down payment on one. I've made a few payments, but I have not. I'm doing slow on purpose. Daughter in lockdown? I don't know what that means. Oh, lockdown. Ha ha ha. Incubator? Got it. My mind went to pandemic there. I was like, what are you talking about? Andy Rose says, I don't have room in the freezer. I really need to get in the freezer and either can stuff up or something. Andy Rabbit, I did a video on that because I needed to do the same thing. Yeah, that's why I made chili and quiche, and I haven't done the bone broth yet. That bones went in the other freezer, which I haven't even gone through yet. And I made pie too. So there you go. Be creative with what you find in your freezer and then actually use it. Oh, Steve says Katrina did a video on multitasking, Andy Rabbit. I did. That was a while ago. Yeah, check out that video on multitasking, because if you can get a day that you're not bugged and you say, okay, you guys handle things on your own time, maybe not the day the babies do, but you can get multiple things going. And just as long as your timers are set, as long as you're paying attention to that rattle on the pressure canner, then you'll do good. Yeah. What's the humidity at lockdown? Oh, PJ. Yeah. JJ says, I'll check out your bone broth video. Good. Yeah, hopefully it'll either help you or maybe you can tell me something different I can do. I always like to share. Yeah. Baseplace says, that is what I do, Katrina. Run it through twice. Then when it cools, put it in the freeze dryer. Yep. Yeah, and if you're freeze drying it, you're going to have a different result than we do, because when I can it, I don't mix it in with a full strength stuff. Usually I can the full strength stuff while the other stuff is going in the New Wave. So that's how I deal with it usually. And then I'll can the next batch, usually the next day, because it's usually a multi-day thing for me. But it does end up a weaker broth, which if you're canning it, it's just going to be weaker broth. But if you have a freeze dryer, it will just take more water out, and you'll have probably the same strength of powder if you're powdering it. Yeah, I think that would work. Steve says, PJ, you can borrow Andy Rabbit's freeze dryer. She's not using it. But don't go get it. She'll give you a fake address. There's some history on here for those that don't know. Andy Rabbit says, I do around 55 to 60%. The chicks bring the humidity up to around 75% when they start hatching out. Andy Rabbit, go back and read what he wrote. He wasn't talking about chicks. Oh boy. Andy Rabbit says, my kids are the life happens. They all live a few hours away. So when life happens, I'm away from home. Here's what you do. You invite them all over and give them a job to do. Do that. Do that. Steve hides from his kids too. Uh-oh. Hey, Texas Top Shelf Reptiles is here. Hello, hello. Welcome. We're talking about canning. We talked earlier about naming our rabbits that we're keeping. We talked about burns and vinegar and aloe vera. And what else did we talk about? Good stuff. Talking about canning now. Bone broth is the topic you walked in on. So, welcome. If you want to talk about anything else, put it in the comments. Andy Rabbit says, that might have been the first video I watched of yours. Oh, okay. The bone broth one? Or the multitasking one? Well, hopefully it was a good one for you. Dawn says, I had to drink no less than 8 ounces of bone broth a day for 3 years, doctors ordered, and I quickly went to doing it in a pressure cooker and freeze it to make more. Was that for bone broth has a lot of benefits. I'm just wondering if that was because of your knees, if it had to do with the collagen. I'm wondering if that was it. So bone broth has a lot of collagen in it and is really good for your bones and for your joints and all of that. So people do drink it on a daily basis. I have not done that. Maybe I should start doing that. But I have not done it. Has anybody else done that as a daily basis? I know it's supposed to do wonderful things. Dawn says, now that I don't have to drink it, I don't make it anymore. I'd waste 3 hours a day making and watching it every week. Oh, wow. Wow. JJ says, I used to bone broth poultry during flu season, and taking days to cook while someone is sick is silly. Right. So if you already have it in a jar, you just use it. I mean, there is some evidence that, the chicken noodle soup, like chicken noodle soup for the soul, that kind of thing. Chicken, particularly the stuff in the skin, is what I've read. But chicken broth is really, really good for you. I'm sure quail broth is too, and every other broth. But there is actual evidence that there's stuff in it that helps, which is pretty cool. JJ Willow says, Dawn, what is the result of drinking bone broth daily? I'm just going to skip down to her answer there. It was for Lyme disease, as the bacteria eats collagen and cartilage. Oh, wow. Wow. And she doesn't know if she got any benefits that you could mention. Interesting. I was thinking it was for your knees. Okay, let's go back up. Texas says, yeah, my next venture is pickled quail eggs. So pickled quail eggs, is not recommended to be canned to be shelf stable. It should be in the refrigerator. That is from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. And if you're home canning it, if you find a packer that is using the appropriate equipment that they're able to do that, then that's different. But as far as like home pressure canners or home water bath canners, that doesn't cut it. So hopefully you are selling refrigerated. Yeah. You'll be listening? Okay, good. Hopefully you'll be selling ones that are refrigerated, or if you found a packer that has the appropriate equipment, that is the big, spendy, not just the canner that goes on your stovetop equipment. Yeah. Hopefully that'll go well for you, though. There's definitely people who want that. Andy Rabbit says, when my dog got poisoned, I made her bone broth and fed it to her in a rabbit's water bottle every 30 minutes to every hour. Wow. The vet said that he really didn't think she would make it. He said bone broth saved her. Wow. I wonder if that had to do with just getting in nutrients, like that much nutrients at once into her, and that her body was able to fight things off. Yeah. PJ says pickled quail eggs are so yummy. Good. Base Place is asking Texas, have you checked out any of the quail in the kitchen recipe books? There's some recipes in that, and it's on the MyShire. Oh, she put the link. It's on the MyShire website. She put the link down there. Dawn says it was. Oh, I already read that. The lockdown comment. Yes, Andy Rabbit, it was so funny, and you missed it completely. Base Place says quail broth is better, in my humble opinion, for illness. Yeah, it's good stuff. Dawn says JJ Willow. Oh, I already read that. Oh, you're a member of the Texas is a member of the Quail Cookbook, Quail in the Kitchen. There we go. You sold 2/3 of your flock. Just getting my numbers back up. Oh my gosh, the farmer's market is bleeding me dry. Wow. I mean, I guess that's good, but you need to keep some stock. Wow. JJ Willow says, oh, cool about Lyme. I used teasel root for chronic Lyme and it saved my life. Wow. I did not know that teasel had any medicinal qualities. I mean, I've never looked it up. I just knew that it was used for like combs and things. But that's pretty cool. And I'm glad you guys are okay. Dawn says my knees were from an accident and I was still drinking it. But when you crush the kneecaps, it doesn't help that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Andy Rouse says my multitasking video was the first one you saw. How much goes on over here in one day? Or part of a day, as the case may be. Texas Top Shelf says awesome info. Good, you're welcome. Yeah. So if you have not looked up the National Center for Home Food Preservation yet, National Center for Home Food Preservation, check out that website. It's really has like everything you need to know. Some things are not approved recipes or approved for canning because they have not done the testing. And some things are not approved because they have done the testing. Pickled eggs is one of those things that they have done the testing for, and they have had botulism in that, which can be deadly. So definitely check that out and make sure that you're educated and that whoever is eating your stuff knows what their potential risks are. If you are going to go a different route than what I'm recommending, make sure those people know what their risk is. So, yeah. Steve says, people in my area love pickled quail eggs with jalapeno peppers. For me, the ones that I did, they were good, but they were really a lot tougher than I expected. So I think I need to maybe poke holes in them so the flavor gets in, but maybe let them set less long, or maybe do a maybe boil for a shorter amount of time. Like, I think it would be good, like, cut up in something, but just to pop in my mouth and eat, it was a little too hard for me to appreciate it. Like I know other people do. So I need to fiddle with my stuff there. Don says, I have had grass-fed only meat, so that left me with beef and deer. Doc said no chicken, which I love. I hate the smell of deer. Interesting. Why no chicken? That's interesting. Yeah, deer can taste different depending on where you are, depending on what it's been eating. I have heard, and I don't know this because I have not experienced it myself, but the silvers in the deer meat, I've heard that basically goes away when you can it. Does anybody know if that's true? Yeah, I don't know. I've never canned it. Andy Rabbit just decided that she's buying the electric egg peeler. Do it. You know, sometimes you just need to do it and get it done so that you can use it. And if that means buying something, we know you're going to use it. So that's good. You can fiddle with the homemade one later, right? Or maybe have your kids come over and they can fiddle with it and you can use your electric one. Baseplay says, cuz put one habanero in each jar before putting in the quail eggs. Yeah, so you're saying habanero instead of the jalapenos that he's working with? Yeah. Texas says, all my eggs get washed daily and in the refrigerator. The 100% organic market insists, so no biggie. I have a small plug in the fridge we keep at the market. Okay. Yeah, so refrigerated is fine, and it puts you as a seller at less risk. And I'm guessing you're allowed to do that in Texas. I'm not allowed to sell hard-boiled eggs in California without a commercial kitchen. That's how ridiculous it is. So check your stuff, but hopefully Texas is a little more lenient on that. It's a little ridiculous that you can't even do like hard-boiled eggs. I was thinking, I can do like the colorful eggs at Easter time and hard boil them, and nope, you can't do that. In California, at least. JJ says, Don, old timers used to use chicken grease on the joints for pain. I tried it, but then my dog wouldn't leave me alone. Now I just use comfrey balm and it helps. Aw, your dog loved you. That's hilarious. Yeah, comfrey works as well. I have comfrey in my yard. Pretty much it's not used for much except for compost tea. And I need to spread it out a little more and use it, have it growing in different places and make full use of it. I just haven't yet. Steve says, welcome to the egg peeler club, Andy. Yep, welcome. And there is a trick to that, which is keeping things wet and not wet, but a little moisture. And if you shake the eggs before you put it on, shake them, then put them back in your cold water and then pull them out. And if you shake them too much, then it won't pull the whole thing. So there's like a perfect shakeage that you need to crack them. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going back in time, guys. Sorry. Andy says, hey, Don, I can grass feed some rabbits for you. Cooey's grass fed. Okay. Texas says, no, it was a horrible decision. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Sorry. Steve says, I'm adding ghost peppers next week. That should teach them. Oh, boy. Oh, your sprouts are about 1 inch long, Andy says. Awesome. I got the alfalfa sprouting seeds, and I haven't done it yet. It got over to the shelf. It got from the floor when I brought it in to the shelf. So that's how far that's gone. Yeah. There go those powers again. Uh-oh. Here is the link, Katrina. Okay, let me open link in new window, and then yes, thank you. So the one that she says, here's the link, Katrina, is right below my National Center for Home Food Preservation. That's the link for that. Awesome, thank you. JJ says they say it is dangerous to can apple butter, which I've made for decades. I'm not sure if that's still on the dangerous to can, and it might be a thickness issue for density. I've done pear butter, and that's on the list. So basically, I would just consult the National Center for Home Food Preservation, because I'm sure that that's on there, and I'm sure it's been done. And I do know that canning pumpkin glop, like if you puree it, then that is a density issue, and it does not, the heat does not penetrate to the center of that, so that's why it's in cubes. I know that. That's the only thing I can think of, but other than that, I would think that it would be fine. I haven't done that though. I've only made pear butter. I haven't done apple butter yet. But pear butter is so good, guys. I don't think I did it. I think that was before I was on YouTube that I made that. So something to speak to about something you've made for decades versus, other things. There is new information that comes out. So it's important to review that new information each time. And you can make your own personal decisions. That's up to your own personal, your decision maker is you. And just make sure that if you share something that is not kind of approved, that the people who are consuming it also know that. That would be the only thing I would say. Yeah. And I know a lot has changed with tomatoes and so like adding lemon juice to tomatoes, and that's because the actual varieties that we are growing now and the actual tomatoes are changing in their acidity, so they're not as acidic as they used to be. Even the same varieties that used to be grown, the soil is losing that. So that's just something, that's an aside. Right. Andy Rabbit says, unless you're cooking in the car video was before the multitasking video. Can't remember. I don't remember. I think probably cooking in the car might have been before. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I have some videos about cooking in your car. Your car becomes a solar oven. That's why we don't want to leave, pets and babies in it, or yourself. And it gets up to some pretty significant temperatures, but makes wonderful food. And I plan on doing more videos of that nature next summer, or this coming summer. So, yeah, best way to cook rabbit or quail is on your dashboard, by the way. Did you actually do that, Andy, after doing that? Yeah, the car video was earlier, Base Place says. Yeah. The car video was the first one. I intrigued you. Yeah. Dawn says, I didn't see anything when I used teasel. Okay. SS Swanson says, don't poke the eggs. Might allow spores or bacteria into yolk. Not recommended. Good tip. Thank you, Steve. Andy Rabbit says, I thought you were crazy when I saw your car cooking video, but now I just know you're pretty cool. Aw, thank you, Andy. Watch the videos, try it out. All it is slow cooking. And especially since I had the thermometer in there, those are safe, slow cooking. It's just making a solar oven out of your car. So you don't even have to buy a solar oven, because if you have a car and you have sun, you have a solar oven. It's the same thing. Yeah. Thanks for not thinking I'm crazy anymore. Dawn says, oh, the deer bone broth stunk. Oh, you made bone broth and stunk. Okay. I could not get past the smell to drink it down. Then I made 50-50 beef and deer bone broth. And that game smell, I just couldn't drink it. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't had deer in a very long time. In fact, I think I've had pronghorn. Yeah, I think I've had pronghorn more recently than deer, and that was, when was that? Like 2006 or something like that. So it's been a while since I had one of those sorts of ungulates. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, my kids, heck no, they're all crazy. Dawn says, 2 butcher stops tried giving me free deer bones, but even if I held my breath, I couldn't drink it. I wonder if there's something that would offset that, like if there was like lemon juice or something. I do not have any experience with that, but I know what you're talking about. If it smells like gamey tastes, then that would be an issue for me too. Yeah. Do they come by it naturally? Okay, let's see. You guys jumped again. Sorry, I'm looking for you guys. Where'd you guys go? You guys are talking a lot. I'm way behind. Okay. Dawn, bay leaf would have help with the smell and taste. That is a good tip, Bay's Place. Dawn says comfrey was good. I made tons of balm with it. Awesome. Andy Rabbit says, yes, they do, but they got their looks from their dad because I still have mine. Aw, that's a good way to say that. That's funny. Oh, you had bay leaf in it and nothing helped the smell. I don't know what to tell you. Don't do deer broth. JJ says, yep, I don't go without comfrey. Also use it for composting too. Yeah, so it's a compost activator. So is yarrow. If you have yarrow, it's a compost activator, and it basically kind of gives a jump start to the little buggies in there that are breaking things down. Yeah. PJ says, I plan on introducing my grandson to coloring quail eggs for Easter this year. I'm so excited. The day he arrived, I had quail hatching, and the week he was here, he helped me with them. Awesome. He's 3. Awesome. Andy Rabbit says, I found the lady who makes bee venom cream Saturday, again at the farmer's market. It's so good on pains and joints. Manuel bought some venom cream, and it's all his is Vaseline with menthol. That's basically all it was. It has like pictures of a rattlesnake or something, some sort of viper, and bees on it, and all it was like mint, and I don't know what else was in there. It was all not venom stuff, but I've heard that it does good things. Hello. Hi, Manuel's home. Vase Place says my alfalfa is about 4 inches high now. Wow. So are you doing a cut and come again kind of thing with alfalfa for your babies? Yeah, my sprouts still in the shed. Steve, they're still in the shed in seed form, or are they growing yet? Mine are not growing yet. JJ says, I like the sprouting people cups. I don't know what that looks like. I like eating them myself. No rabbits nor quail would get any. That's kind of where I am. They get plenty of stuff from the garden. But alfalfa sprouts are one thing like you put on a sandwich or salad or yum. Alfalfa's your next sprouts, Andy Rabbit. Me too. Laughing at you, Steve. Dawn says, I had to toss all my microgreens out today. They got frozen in the fridge. I started alfalfa before dinner, but I have to wait a week to get some. Oh, wow. So the animals won't eat it once it's been frozen? Is it too mushy for them? I would have tried to give it to the animals. Base Place says, Dawn, if you soak the seeds for 24 hours, then drain them, they sprout faster. Good information. PJ says, I make pear butter and pumpkin butter. Yep, I freeze those too. You must have a big freezer. Dawn says, the way I do them, they will be sprouted tomorrow, but I grow microgreens, not sprouts. Right, so those are different. Base Place says, I grow microgreens and actually start them both the same way. Okay. JJ says, I love lemon juice and salt in my tomatoes. It tastes good. I suppose I have a thing about lemons. You know, lemon is the forgotten dessert flavor. I've decided this. You know, everybody likes chocolate. You know, vanilla people like, but it's kind of like, oh, but you like vanilla? Okay. We're going to do this. And lemon, I think, is the forgotten dessert flavor. Because who doesn't love all those lemony yummies? Yeah. And if you have a Meyer lemon, JJ, I don't know where you are. Are you able to grow lemons where you are? I don't know. If you're able to grow lemons, I definitely recommend a Meyer lemon. Meyer lemon is an actual cross between a lemon and I don't remember if it's tangerine or a mandarin, but well, that's kind of the same thing. Anyway, it's a cross. And so it's a smaller lemon, like that big, and with a thinner skin. It has a little bit of orange on the outside. It's not really orange, but if you put it next to a big lemon, that it's definitely a different color. And it's sweet. It's not sweet. It's still a lemon, but it's much sweeter and it has a more depth of flavor. So if you like lemon stuff, check out Meyer lemons. Yeah. Dawn sprouts her seeds in the tray, same as a jar, just already on trays. Okay. Steve says you typically cannot sell apple butter because apples are low acid and most cottage foods laws prohibit low acid foods from selling. I don't know that they're low acid because applesauce is done in a water bath canner, and that is not low acid. That's for acidic foods. Interesting. I don't know that that's true for California either. I think apple stuff is so well. They're pretty limited for cottage food laws. They're pretty limited for canning. I think it's mostly limited to things like salsa and jams and jellies. I think it's pretty limited to that. Vase Place does microgreens in an inch of soil. Okay. You want to come sit?
Yeah.
Manuel's coming to join us. Say hi.
Oh, that was not the plan, but
that was not the plan. You're just gonna sit there and be in the picture and not introduce and say hi.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Dawn says I sprout and grow them all soilless and hydroponically. Yeah, Dawn has a good hydroponic setup, which is pretty cool. Oh, I'm jumping here. Vase Place says, leaves me out, Katrina. I don't have a car. Verna, I have told you, you have neighbors with cars. They would love their car to smell like cookies. They would love their car to smell like all these things. Right? You just say, hey, pay me. I'll cook you dinner, but you have to leave me your car. There you go. What is pronghorn? A pronghorn is... it's like a deer, but not. And it is something that we have here that you guys don't have. And they are, I believe, the fastest land mammal on this continent. And they can run at least up to 68 miles an hour. When I was at Heart Mountain, there's a helicopter pilot there that counted all the pronghorn on the pronghorn antelope is the full name. Some people call them antelope. We do not have antelope here. Antelope are over across the ocean. Is a totally different. They're the only ones in their family that's alive today. But he clocked them going 68 miles an hour from the helicopter, and that was sustained. They love to run. They are basically made to run. Their windpipes are about that big because they suck in so much oxygen. And then what we see as this leg is actually these two bones fused. And what we see as this is this. And then this is actually what's back here. So they have, it looks like they have an extra, it doesn't look like it. You don't see it, but they have a longer reach. And because that bottom part is these two bones fused, when they jump over a fence, which they don't like to do, they like to go underneath a fence. In a lot of Western states, the height of the bottom rung of fencing is 18 inches off the ground, and that's so the pronghorn can go under it. And when they do jump over, most of the time when they land on their back feet and then their front feet, because their front feet are so delicate that up and down jumping is they don't land that way. So they're pretty cool. They're called pronghorn because they have really, it's a horn structure that has, it's kind of a mixture between a horn and an antler. We're going in biology again, Verna. So a horn is something that is attached to the skull, is actually part of the skull and grows. Okay, like a cow has a horn. A deer has an antler, so it is bone, and it grows every year and then falls off. That's a lot of energy to waste on attracting a mate. And it grows every year, right? So pronghorn has an actual horn, and then they have a casing that is kind of like you see with when deer, when they grow, they have that velvet, but it stays there. So I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it is an animal. And if it looks like it would be related to a deer. There we go. Getting into biology again. Andy Rabbit says, no, I haven't cooked meat in the car. I have cooked top ramen noodles on the dash in the past. There you go. Steve is asking, Vase plays south-facing window as a substitute. You'd have to have a pretty, you can make one out of a box. So we're talking solar ovens, we're talking cooking in the car. If you had a box and a piece of glass in that and foil that was very smooth, you could make something that works. And I'm sure somebody has a video on YouTube that you can do that. Yeah. Compass point windows. Okay. PJ says, I'll be getting some venison from a friend in March. I'm so excited. Love venison jerky. All right. Don't invite Dawn. She's not going to eat any. Dawn says, that is it, Katrina. It does smell like gamey tastes. I gave it up in 2014. Yeah, I would not like that. I've had some deer that taste really gamey. The pronghorn didn't taste gamey. It was very good. It was a roadkill. A roadkill. The person in front of me on my field crew hit, and we had to call the Fish and Wildlife people and all that. JJ says teasel root tincture pulls lime out of muscles, organs. More than antibiotics kills. You do suffer hex. I don't know that. But once lime is out of the body, it has no reaction and actually helps low back and knee pain. I'm going to have to investigate teasel. Yeah. Vase Place says soak the venison in salt water for a couple days. That supposedly takes out wild taste. I've also heard milk. Never done it, just heard about it. Andy says an old Indian woman told me milk or butter. There we go. For game meat. I didn't read that. I should have read it first. PJ says my pigs got loose and guineas haven't helped, but my comfrey might be a loss this winter because the pigs ate it. Yeah, and your guineas ate it. Sorry. Okay, buttermilk too. Oh, Manuel's here. Face Place is saying hello. It's Verna.
Yeah, I say hi.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Are you further in there?
Huh?
Okay. Vase Place says when my kids were little, I used to cut a lemon in half and put a piece of peppermint candy in the center for them to suck on in the winter. Interesting. I've never heard of that. Oh, and you guys skipped again. I'm like way behind, I think. JJ says no, nah, can't grow lemons, or I would. Zone 6, Ohio. That's right, you did say Zone 6. Oh, you're in Ohio. Okay. Hopefully you're not near that train disaster. So you can grow lemons inside. If you have Meyer lemons are a smaller tree, you could grow lemons inside. If you have a greenhouse and you protect it inside there, you could grow it in there too. Or you could just bring it into your house in the winter and send it outside in the summer. That would work too. I know of people that have done that. Vase Place says, JJ, you can in your home if you have the room. Man, you guys are saying exactly what I'm saying. Maybe I should just let you guys talk. Have a dark house, not into using lights all the time, only for seed starting. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, my mom froze green grapes for us to snack on in summer. My kids love them too. Yeah, I've done that, is freezing grapes. And it's funny because when you offer them to people that haven't had them, they're like, this is weird. But it's really good. You have tried frozen grapes?
Probably.
Yeah, a while ago. I think I did it for a party once. Yeah. Dawn says I tried to grow Meyer lemons in the house 3 times and they croaked. Then I tried an orange tree and it lived and grew a while before it croaked. Gave up. No more. Aw. That's sad. Vase Place wants to grow kumquats. There are several miniature versions of kumquats that you can grow, and definitely research the varieties because there's some tasty, tasty varieties. There's a nursery somewhat local to here, about half an hour away, and he has tons of different kumquats, and they're pretty cool. Yeah. Andy Rabbit is saying hello.
Hello.
JJ says Vase Place only okay on the windows. The rest is shaded by a big tree. Yeah. So when I moved into my house, one of the only plants that was in the yard was a Meyer lemon tree, and it had definitely been shaded out. And I was told by the person who came and cut down a bunch of trees to put mulch around the outside of the tree and make a basin and water it. And he said, like, within a few months, it will be doing really good. And he was so right. It needed sunshine. It needed nutrients. So, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so Dawn does the frozen grapes as well. Love to move to a brighter home. Well, I would love to move to a place with property. We'll keep on saving, right? Wow, Katrina. I don't know what the wow is, but hopefully it's a good thing. JJ says, hi, Mr. Katrina. That's you.
Oh.
Oh, sunshine LED lights. Yeah, they make sunshine LED lights that you can also have have it behind something like it's like a screen, looks like clouds or something. Looks like a window, but it isn't. They make those. I knew someone that had that one time, and it actually, it looked fake, obviously, but it was better than having no window. Andy Rabbit says, JJ, get the grow lights that's marketed for growing weed. They are pretty awesome. Oh boy. Vase Place says, so their horns are more like goat horns than deer antlers. There's a covering over the horn, though. You might go down a rabbit hole if you start researching them and their physiology, because their physiology is absolutely, we're talking about pronghorns. Their physiology is absolutely interesting. Yeah. Mac looks like got deleted. All right. Thank you, Vase Place, for catching whatever he was doing. He or she. Andy Rabbit says, well, JJ, they work great. Just don't look in the light. Yeah, that's the thing with grow lights. You guys will see tomorrow's video is going to be, I planted the tomatoes and peppers, and I haven't finished it yet because I need to turn on lights and all that. But you don't really want to be staring at those lights because they do give off quite a bright light, and I would not want to just, get in there. There you go. More like deer horns, except not as many points. So, Steve, deer don't have horns. They have antlers because they fall off. Horns are actually affixed to their skull. Like not affixed. It is part of the skull. Whereas deer antlers, they have that velvet on them. That's actually to support the blood vessels, to support the bone growth. And then when that velvet comes off, then it's time for them to do all their fighting and stuff. And then when they don't need them anymore after breeding season, they will rub on things, and they'll actually shed the antlers every single year. So that's a lot of input. You didn't know that?
You told me.
Okay. There's a lot of energy input into that. Whereas these guys, they only have it's a big horn and a small, on the same thing. It looks like that big one and a small one, and actually like this. Anyway, but yeah, the males have bigger ones than the females. Females just have little nubs. Yeah, look them up. Look them up. It was an expense that will have to wait. Oh, for the lights? Yeah. And thank you again, Vase Place. Oop. Grew a whole garden in your extra bathroom one winter with grow lights. Wow, Andy Rabbit, that's pretty cool. The white light is better looking than the purple ones, in my opinion. Yeah, I got ones they're more like a pink. It has blue light and red light, and that's supposed to be best for growth. But there's all sorts of opinions on that kind of thing as well. You can get full spec. I think this is I don't know. I don't remember. JJ says also look up Artemisia annura or Sweet Anne E. Every house should have it. Kept me healthy these last few years. I said the wrong thing because I thought I knew the plant you were talking about. Okay. Artemisia annua. Sweet Anne. Okay, cool. If I grow lemons next year, I'm trying Meyer lemon. Yep, Meyer, I think, lemon. Try it. The worst will happen is it'll die. And I know you guys, you see my garden and it looks all nice. I've killed several plants. Trust me. Sometimes they don't even get planted before I kill them. So trial and error is sometimes your good things. Are you making faces at me? Yeah.
I have seen dead plants around.
Yeah. Yep. I would love a house with a small yard at least. Yes. Yes. You could do a lot. And Vase Place, you have utilized your space that you have wonderfully. And I think if you had a bigger place with a yard, like an actual yard, you would be, I mean, there wouldn't be any room left because you'd be growing so many things. It's awesome. You already know how to use space efficiently. It's great. JJ says, I love to use a white, blue, or purple. Oh, blue and purple will drive you nuts. Yeah, I think what you would have to do if you did use like grow lights is at least shade the light part, even if you're not shading where the light goes, but at least shade the actual structure so that you're not having that stress on your eye. Yeah. Sunshine LED looks white. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they drove you crazy too, and your rabbit? You couldn't see the plants? Aw. And Base Place looks like she put a link to Amazon for that, so that's good. Andy Rabbit says, oh man, I tried hanging the baby's feeder today. They pulled it down, took the chain out of the cage, started walking away, then decided to lift the feeder up. Yep, a baby was under it, 1 inch off the floor. Wow. Okay. And Base Place, I'm not sure what that links to. But you get, yeah, if you had space, you get a couple of pygmy dairy goats. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with, self-sustaining and all of that if you have the time and the space to do it. And if you have a little bit of space, you can recreate what you think about that space too. So how are you using your different levels? How are you, are you doing vines and trees or only trees or only vines, a lot of different things. Yeah. Okay. So Verna says the last link was one I had brought up for someone that suffered from SAD, or is that SADD? Okay. All right, guys, it is after 8, so I think we're going to head out. I am going to talk to Manuel about some of these names. We have this many names. For the rabbits.
For rabbits?
Yeah.
Oh, for the new
rabbits.
New mom to be?
Yep. Well, they're not going to be bred until next season.
That's why I say mom to be.
And then, so we're going to put that in I'm going to see how I can do it on a poll. Hopefully I can do a poll on YouTube. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did not realize it was 8:05, but it's always, time goes good. Time goes by really fast when talking to you guys. And I think we hit on a lot of different topics today, like we always do. And thanks for helping with the names. Yeah. Well, yeah, Base Place says we'll grow vertical to make more room. Absolutely. When you can grow vertically, grow vertically. Absolutely. JJ says, thank you. Enjoyed the good company and good information. Good. We enjoyed having you here. Active in the chat. Awesome. Yeah. So Base Place says in your community tab. Yeah, I will look into that and do that. I think we're going to maybe whittle it down to a more manageable poll and then go from there. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the technical difficulties with the internet. It was giving poor signal. I don't know. So there you go. Pick about 5 names. Yeah, that's what I'm planning to. So thank you guys. And thank you, Vase Place, for moderating. You caught the bad guy. Thumbs up. JJ Willis says thumbs up. Hopefully, if you enjoyed stuff in here, put a thumb up and be good. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night. And we will see you next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's Pacific time. Adjust for your time period. And have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.